So tell me, I'm pissed? Yes, I am pissed. They're taking our little Bella away. The paperwork required to be a foster parent, literally tons and tons of paperwork. Anthony and Zay were in foster care. The day they turn 18, they have to do the same. They have to go do the background check. They have to do the same paperwork as I did to become a foster parent. They are not foster parents. They're former kids who still live in my home. They just gave me a phone call and they said, hey, because Anthony hasn't done his paperwork, because Zay hasn't done his paperwork, we are removing your little one out of your home. So here's an update of what happened or what's going on since Bella left us. It's been really rough and it's been really hard. But update on Anthony and Zay as well. They did the background check, It literally takes, 30 minutes to do the background check? But here's why it takes so long, For us, we understood or we thought once we start the process, we have the child back because it's in the process of being done. We had no idea that they will not bring the child until we've been cleared. In other words, until Anthony and Zay have been cleared. And that can take the government as long as they want. Remember, you do the fingerprint. It doesn't mean like you get the results right away. It goes on somewhere and then somewhere and somewhere and somewhere. And finally, you get it back. But here's a crazy part that made it maybe the longest and the difficult. And again, I don't want you to blame my teens or any of my child. That's not their fault, So when we do background check in the United States or anywhere in the US, they have to do background check for the last 7 years. So if you have moved, they have to follow up every address you have moved to. If you lived in Florida, they have to go to Florida FBI and, background check. If you lived, I don't know, whatever. So every kid has to put on the last 7 years or 5 years, where have they lived? So here's a kicker or the trouble came with Zay. Zay lived with us until he was 18, and then he went to live with his dad, and then with his mom, and then with his girlfriend. So he's been in 2 states. That means he's been in, 3 states. That means he has been in North Carolina, Florida, and Kansas. Yep, you heard me. So that means that they have to do background check in every state he's lived in, which is, for me, I've done this over and over. Yes, every place you've lived for the last 10 years, 7 years, depends by the state, 5 years, they have to do background check. In other words, the fingerprint we did will be sent to every state. Yep. Every state you've ever lived, and then they will check the background on you and then bring you back. So that's why it's taking so long. So that's what we're waiting for right now. And it's really difficult to wait and not knowing. We don't want to blame the social worker or we don't want to blame the agency. No, everything goes through different circles and layers of bureaucracy. And that's why we tell you foster care is really not easy. It's a system that works, but also they want to make sure they protect every child. Yes, he lived in Florida. We want to know what he did while he was there. In case he did something bad, we need to know. He lived in Kansas. Yeah, while he was there, what did he do? We need to know. So we want to protect the child. And those are the necessary steps needed too. But sometimes when we do these processes, we don't know. Like no one tells you, hey, this is what's going to go. No, absolutely no. So for me, I had to really take care of my teen, give him a place to stay, and make sure that he came back and he have a home. Remember, 25,000 kids in foster care graduated or age up, 25,000. Do you know where most of them end up? Do you know where? Yep, homeless. I never want any of my kids to be homeless. I'll do the best I can to provide for them. And most kids end up in sex trafficking. Literally, 70% of kids who are trafficked are former foster kids. Why? Because most of the time there's no adult on the other end to embrace them in and bring them in. And so that's why sometimes when there's one adult in a child's life, especially teenagers, it changes their lives. And so that's who we are today. He's our son, he's part of our family. And so we're going to take care of him. We don't blame him. We don't falter him. That wasn't his. It's the bureaucracy of DSS. And that's what they do. One, to protect the children, especially the ones that we have, all the kids who are in their care. So right now, we don't know when Bella is going to come back to us, It's been sad and really hard for us, to function, to do what we do. We've always had her, So not having her has really been a challenge in some way. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to check on my little one and she's not there. And so that's been really the difficult part. The other difficult part is kids are about to go back to school. So you always arrange and plan and know what needs to be done. And so not having her, that really affects everyone else. Our kids also go through different, hospital, all things that you need to really help them as they grow up. Yes, she needs to go to the doctor. I still get to take her to the doctor, and that's been really tough as well. That she gets to see us for a moment and then we have to leave her back, The other part that she stays in the same daycare she's always been. So that means we can see her every day. We can visit her. We can see her. The only thing we cannot do is we cannot bring her home and stay with us. So she cannot stay a night at our home, but we can hang out with her during the day. Pick her up for lunch, pick her up after school, after daycare, and hang out with her before the respite family takes her. So yes, we get to have that opportunity. Yes, we get to enjoy that. But also it's really, really hard on the kids, because they get to see her and they miss her, So every moment we see her, they're like, I wish we could bring her home. Yeah, that's what I feel as well. I wish, But I think the hardest part is for her. She's a little confused. Like, why do I have to see you for a short time and then you have to leave? She's 3. I'm sure she, interprets in her own way. But it's hard when she's excited to see her, when she's excited to see us. And then we have to not bring her home. That we have to see her for a short time and just, yes, that's been the hardest part. But overall, we're trying to hang in there. We're trying to truly do the best we can so we can, have her back. As soon as our agency receives the background check and they're cleared, then, that day we go pick her up. But for now, we gotta wait. Some people say, we've had a few comments from the previous video. They'll say, but why did you wait that long? Like, why didn't you just do all, in time? Well, he's truly my honesty as a single dad. When you're a single parent, that you have so much to be there and to make sure your kids go through a day-to-day life, and that's what you're focused on. You're not sitting on the table waiting, when is paper due? Like we don't, I mean, some of you are good at planning. I am not good at planning. I'm good at taking care of the kids. But when it comes to paperwork that are over, hey, listen as well. As foster parents, it's not like we do one document. We do documents all the time. The kids get sick, goes to the hospital, you gotta do the paperwork. The kids falls on the ground and has a scratch, you do the paperwork. I mean, you have to literally always make sure that kids are up to date for their immunization, for their doctor's appointment, for their dental, for their eye. So like, I'm constantly doing the paperwork. And sometimes there's some that go through, you're like, well, I'll get to that. But also the other part is, when you have a teen who turns 18, you are absolutely excited they are turning 18. You're not really thinking about like, oh, now that they are turned 18, paperwork have to change. Like, you're not living in that space every day, every time where you're thinking about what paperwork that my child is 18 now that I have to do. No, I want to be honest. Maybe that's my failure, that I just don't live in that place where I'm constantly thinking about the paperwork. No. When Zay came back to us, yes, we knew they would do paperwork, but we knew he would be with us for a short time, that we didn't need to do all the paperwork. But then we realized, like, hey, he needs to be helped. He needs to be stationed in a place where he can have his own apartment and bring his girlfriend. But for now, he has to save money. So it would take longer than what we had planned for. Well, did we know the paperwork will get in the way? No. Did we know that when they do the background check, they will go through every state he's ever lived in? No. Some things are just out of control. And in this case, some things I could not control them. All I had to do was just be a parent. So it wasn't just the background check that caused us, to have this whole mishap. No. We had to do all other things. And we did them all. As I said, medical, not just to my teens, but to my little one as well. School, where are they go to school? Where do they work? What health insurance they have? Yeah, we have to feed in all that paperwork. Where do they work? All that, we had to do all that. But the one we could not do in time, or the one we could not get in time, was the background check. Again, this is a system that we can't force, so we gotta wait. It's frustration. When you love someone, when you love your kid, and you want to make sure they don't go through the ups and downs, you do the best you can. And when you're a parent and you cannot do that, it really weighs on you, you know? And remember, for us as foster parents and adoptive parents, what happens to one child affects other kids as well. So it's not like she's gone and everyone is okay. No, she has a dad who's missing, you know? She's got little siblings who really are worried about her. And two teenager boys who really care for her and had bio parents. And we all work together to make it that she's okay. But when we are not in line, that really causes a lot of stress to everyone, everybody included. Everyone is asking, when are things gonna be okay? When are paperwork come back? We're like, we don't know. Even the agent doesn't know until they get that paperwork that we'll be able to have her. For now, no, we were not having her. So that's a journey. That's what we've been going through. And we love you guys. And, you know, I wouldn't do this without you. You've been in my village. You encourage me and you uplift me and you show me. And I'm grateful for each one of you for being there for us. Single parent is not easy. It's really, really hard. But when you have people like you that come alongside and remind us of what we're doing, you know, you kind of remind us what I signed up for, you know, not to give up, but also to stay strong. And I cannot do that without you. And I'm grateful for each one of you. And I am thankful for each one of you. Even through this difficult time, when we read your comments, you know, when you know, what I love the most is sometimes people will say, you know, do you have any update for Bella? And I'm like, I don't. And that's why I'm creating this video, to give you the update of what we are and where we're waiting and to see if all goes well. So otherwise, it's been wonderful and hard as well. Really, really difficult as a parent. Because we didn't, it's not like a goodbye. We know she's coming back and we're going through the process of all as a foster parent, but feeling that we don't have her physically, it really also makes us a little bit short in some way. So we grateful for your prayers. We're grateful for your kindness. We, as we strive, you know, stay with us, you know, leave us more comments, you know, and we appreciate you so much as we wait and wait and wait. So that's the really update we have, and hope we will update you more if I hear more. For now, that's where we are at. And thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified whenever another one of our videos come out. And we love to see your comments, so make sure that you leave a comment down below of what we should do next and if we should bring back Cooking with Anthony. And thank you so much for supporting us.